Xbox Game Studios delivers one of PlayStation's best rated games in 2021, and it looks like Indiana Jones will be exclusive to Xbox. Deathloop is out tomorrow, and this seems like a game that we have been hearing about and seeing previews for and videos for a very, very long time. And ever since they announced it, ever since they showed it off, it's one of those games that I was very interested in. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It comes from Xbox Game Studios Arcane, who is known for making just absolutely awesome narrative games, first-person gameplay style of games with their Dishonored series. And Deathloop is their next entry into the video game market. Now, this is another first-person shooter style of game where you're in a loop and you have to kind of figure out how to get through that loop. And the characters, the actual narrative of it, so far from what we've seen in the previews, looks really good. And now the reviews are coming out, and it looks like everything they've been showing off is going to be living up to the hype, as it is right now rated as one of the best games on the PlayStation 5, as it is a timed exclusive to the PS5. Now, I've said this on my channel before, and I still stand by it. Even if, let's say, Halo comes out in December and gets a 100 on Metacritic, I don't really care about review scores. I don't really care what IGN gives the score of a video game. All this stuff is just kind of semantic to me, because if it's a game that I'm interested in, if it's a game that I want to play, I'm going to check it out, whether the game gets a 40 or a 90, and make the determination for myself as to whether I like the game or not. But the reason I'm talking about this is because this is just such a weird and ironic situation in the video game industry that we would have never seen 10 years ago, and that is that Xbox Game Studios is publishing a game on the PlayStation exclusively for, let's say, a year. I believe that's how long the timed exclusivity is. And we look at just some of the quick review scores here from the Twitter account Nibel, and it shows that even like the mainstream outlets like GameSpot and IGN are giving this game a 10 out of 10. Now, what the craziest thing and the best thing to come out of this, at least what these review scores are showing in terms of the quality of a game, if you want to base that off of review scores, is that Arcane is just an incredible developer. Arcane is a developer that is going to be a goldmine going forward for Xbox. You think about the Dishonored series, now you think about Deathloop, then you think about Redfall, which will be coming out in the next year. And these are all games from a studio that has a track record of just making incredible video games. And with the Redfall game, we've seen the leak, and we know now that it is more like a Borderlands style of game, a narrative open world RPG. And Arcane just makes really fun, really interesting narratives in terms of being able to incorporate that into a lot of great gameplay. So Redfall has me now even more excited. I was really excited after I saw the leak, seeing it was more like Borderlands. Now I'm seeing the quality of their work is continuing with a Deathloop, so Redfall is really up there in terms of a top game to look forward to from Xbox Game Studios. And that's not all, because you just think about the overall production we've been seeing from studios that have been acquired by Xbox and are now finally putting out their games. So Psychonauts 2, in my opinion, is a Game of the Year candidate for 2021. Deathloop now is getting incredible review scores. And I've said this before, and I'm going to reiterate it, that when Xbox Game Studios get rolling and they start releasing their games on a consistent basis, you're really going to see just the power of having all of these amazing studios under Xbox Game Studios. With the amount of resources and money that Microsoft can provide, we're going to be starting to get some incredible games all the time on Xbox Game Pass, on the Xbox ecosystem. So overall, this is just very encouraging for the Xbox ecosystem, and hopefully Forza Horizon 5, which I'm sure will be, and hopefully Halo Infinite, again, which I'm sure will be on the same quality level as Psychonauts 2 and as Deathloop. And man, it just is exciting looking forward to the future of what is to come. I don't know if I'm going to play this game on the PlayStation 5. If I do play it right now, I'll probably play it on PC, but I may just wait for it to come out to Xbox Game Pass, because there are so many games in my backlog. I still have so many games that I'm playing right now, and we're getting into the most busy time of the year with video games. It's time to be the most excited when all of the great games are coming out from third parties and from first party studios. And moving over here to Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was announced to be coming from Bethesda, and the deal for Indiana Jones and all that kind of stuff happened before Xbox acquired them. So people were wondering if this Indiana Jones game was going to be an Xbox exclusive. Now, initially, when they announced an Indiana Jones, and Phil Spencer already came out and talked about like the exclusivity thing and that Bethesda games will be exclusive to anywhere Xbox is, my first reaction was, well, obviously this will be exclusive, but there's been a lot of people kind of questioning it, and it hasn't, I guess, been as clear as it should be for Indiana Jones specifically. And it looks like we are getting some more clarification. Now, these are just rumors. These are just from so-called insiders. So this is Special Ed from the Xbox Era podcast. And he put this tweet out here saying, for those who wanted a preview of the rumor mill for Xbox Era podcast, episode should be up later today or tomorrow. Hashtag Indiana Jones only on Xbox. And then people were asking him if this is going to pan out or not. And Jez Corden says, I think this is one prediction that may not pan out. And then Special Ed replies, I beg to differ. And just to continue here on Jez's prediction, or Jez's tweet here to Special Ed about saying that it may not pan out, he was kind of trolling, I think, because if you scroll down here, it says it's coming to Xbox One though via xCloud. So hey, so they're still going to keep it, even according to Jez, unless he's still trolling here, exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. But nobody actually knows 100% what's going to happen. We're going to have to wait for Xbox, or I guess Microsoft, to fully announce it, because people are going to continue to write articles over and over and over again, like they are with Elder Scrolls 6, which we know is going to be exclusive to Xbox, and they're going to continue to question it just for those views and clicks and people wanting to talk about the exclusivity thing, because exclusivity to a lot of people who I would say don't play that many games but are more console and social media warriors is the biggest thing in the world to them. Indiana Jones, to me, because it is a Bethesda game, is a no-brainer to be an exclusive. I don't think Microsoft would want this on any place else, because it would just be a bad precedent for them when it comes to their new games that are going to be coming out, even if they were signed before the deal, especially games that are so early in development where things can change. I'm sure they can change contracts that have been made for it at this point in the development cycle. Unlike Deathloop, where that had already been signed, I'm sure they could have done something to make sure that it wasn't a time exclusive for PlayStation, but they decided, hey, what's the point of doing that, spending the money, the lawyers and all that kind of stuff to kind of get out of that contract. But for a game like Indiana Jones that is so far away, I'm sure that they could get out of that contract if it was said to be a multi-platform deal and make it an exclusive game. And with stuff like Spider-Man and Wolverine coming out for PlayStation 5, those being superhero games, even though Indiana Jones isn't technically a superhero but a very iconic figure, I think that they will want to keep this exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. And I talked about exclusivity and all that kind of stuff in my podcast this week and my thoughts on overall exclusivity. I completely understand why companies have to have exclusive games, and it's to compete for their specific ecosystems, for their specific boxes. But my overall view on exclusivity is, as a gamer, it doesn't really do anything for you, because what do you gain from somebody else not being able to play a game? Now, that's me living in a utopian fantasy, and I know we don't live in a utopian fantasy. So I get exclusivity. I don't think it's anti-consumer. I don't think it's bad or anything like that, because it's capitalism, it's competition, and competition breeds more and more great games. So at the end of the day, will this be exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem? We'll have to wait and see. I personally think it will be. I think it would be a bad move to allow this on to other platforms. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Let me know what you think about Deathloop, an Xbox Game Studios game, being one of the best rated PlayStation 5 games. And do you think Indiana Jones is going to be exclusive? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, which I look at my analytics and a lot of you are new here, you enjoy what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It does mean a lot. It does help this channel grow and help grow this community, so we can have great conversations in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.